Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of Final Fantasy XIII. In the last episode, we completed XIII missions 12 and 13, defeating Guy Zarek, who's one of the Undying, and then a Goblin Chieftain, and now we are here, back on the Archilta Steppe, and we are going to go find some chocobos at the font of Namva. So, we've been building up to this for the last few episodes. Finally, we'll hopefully be able to ride our chocobos. Why wouldn't we want to? The chocobos are a very welcome addition in helping us cross this rather vast expanse right here. Anyway, so that is the next Seath Stone we'll be taking just over there. Seath Stone number... Pretty sure it's the next Seath Stone we need. So, just a quick thing. Unfortunately, I lost the recording. I didn't lose the recordings. I lost the save data for the last two episodes. So, my CP and stuff, I had to essentially redo the last two episodes. So my CP and stuff might be slightly different, but it's very close to, essentially, what it was. So here we have Defender of the Flock. A Sahagin infestation threatens the steppe chocobos who roost at the font of Namva, those gentle souls I've known since I was a child. The great and merciful Falsi heard my plea and granted me the power to save them. I may never again be able to feel the warmth of their golden down, but I can think of no happier way to spend eternity than watching them over from the water's edge. Another nice little illustration of how not only do you have the Falsi choosing, choosing l'Cie from nothing, as it were, but also, here's an example of Pulsions who wanted to be chosen by the l'Cie because... wanted to be chosen by the Falsi because of the powers that the Falsi would give them. So, bravery and fire for snow. These goblins shouldn't be too much trouble for us. They've got pretty high damage resistance just in general, or at least they've got a decent amount of HP. But obviously getting the preemptive is very helpful here. And they don't have any goblin chieftains around to actually boost their attack power, so we shouldn't be in too much trouble here at all. You actually get a Scourge off there to... Ah, beautiful. Well done, Snow. That was very well done. So we'll do our best to take out this final goblin, and then there we go, lovely jubbly. We won't continue making our way up here because up there are some Amphisbaena, which I'm still not sure we're quite ready to deal with. We might be able to battle them now, but I'd rather just leave it just in case, you never know. No point losing lives on battles, battles like this, which eventually, we will obviously do them all by the end, but we've got to wait for that to happen. So, the Font of Namva is, as I think I mentioned in the last episode, the area that was blocked off by a Seath paling last time. So, we will head over there, try and avoid all the battles, because no point doing them all. These Gorgonospids and stuff, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain by now we've battled these guys. We must have. And we've definitely battled these two. So as I mentioned before, we won't be able to ride chocobos straight away. We have this... I think we actually get a cutscene as well. One of the few remaining sort of optional cutscenes, as it were. Cutscenes that you wouldn't see unless you actually explored the area, found these different paths, etc. So, we head down here, we see another lone dire flan, so that won't be a problem at all. We'll do it on the way back. do it the one time we don't pass it automatically. Like I said, we will be coming back here as we head off into a cutscene.
Wait, I know that smell. I knew it. Hey, you! Are you kidding me? Oh! Wait! Wait! Whoa. Wait! Hey, what was that here? New friends, huh? Why don't you go say hi? You keep growing like that, you'll be bigger than me before long, won't you? Maybe it'd be best to just say goodbye here. Hey, oh! Come on! No! Jeez! Come on, I was just kidding. Yeah, I know. You're sticking with me till Dodge wakes up. Could be a long wait. No one knows. Oh. Quick. Hey, what? Oh, wait, you watching me or something? Say something. Or something.
Didn't want to interrupt. And, you know, I didn't quite know where to begin.
You don't have to begin anywhere. What happened to Dodge wasn't your fault.
But Saz,
You got more than enough weight on your shoulders already. It was my fault at your day, letting Dodge out of my sight like that. That one's on me.
and you're just going to deal with that on your own. Is that it?
I don't have to. I got this guy. And you got Vanille. You weren't alone. That kept you going, didn't it? Listen to me, trying to act all parity.
Well, don't give up. You'll get in the hang of it. Really.
I really like that little cutscene. It's a really nice little touch to have, you know, sort of that cutscene with Fang and Saz. Another sort of set of characters that we've never really seen interact much, just because of, you know, how the story's played out. Anyway, so this next battle is not too difficult. We're going to take on these guys, who are Sahagins.
Looks like somebody needs a hand. Huh? Hurry the what up? Jeez, someone's had their feathers ruffled.
Hurry the what up. Okay, so this is our mission. You don't get that tiny cutscene there if you don't, unless you're doing this particular XIII Stone mission. So we see Sahagin and Karatosaurs. So Karatosaurs aren't too bad. Essentially, we need to be thinking. You can see they do a lot of damage. So yeah, so essentially we've got the Karatosaur and we've got the Sahagins. I believe Karatosaurs are weak to fire and electric, and I think Sahagins are only weak to electric. So you definitely want to Infunder Me, and then Bravery, Infunder Snow. So yeah, so this battle isn't too bad. You can see the sort of, what it does sort of give you an illustration of is the sort of, the extent that these guys can actually do quite a lot of damage to us. They're not to be exactly trifled with. The Kratosaurs themselves die very quickly if we just sort of spam. We can see they're immune to ice. I think the Sahagins might be immune to water as well. I might not be correct with that, but we could certainly be doing this battle a lot more efficiently, but so yeah, so they were, so Kratosaurs, yeah, absorb water and ice, okay. Cool. So the thing about these, yeah, the thing about them is obviously they just do a lot of damage very quickly, if you're not very careful. They're much like us in many ways in that they're quite frail, so they're almost glass cannons. And whilst this battle isn't particularly bad, like he might actually kill Snow there, he did actually. Well. We can go into Vanille. Vanille can raise Snow. And then this guy will go down to the next set of attacks here. The next battle that takes place in the Fontenama is a hell of a lot more difficult than that one. That one's made a lot easier. As you can see, we get a terrible mission rating, but that's okay. Oh, we do actually get Gazar range. Does that mean we can ride Chocobos?
A few minutes later, and you'd have been plucked.
Does that mean we can ride? So yes, okay, so now we can actually ride Chocobos. I didn't think we could do it now, but evidently we can. That's awesome.
You'll be the package, do you?
So yeah, so in order to essentially the Chocobos, the only Chocobos that you can actually ride are the ones which show up as sort of the feather on the map. And if you're wondering what this sort of the orange dot is on the map, that's just the Chocobo chick sort of flying around, having a whale of a time, obviously. You can actually get a Chocobo plume by doing that, which is interesting. Did not know that. Okay, so there are some more battles around here. As you can see, we can see more Sahagin and those guys, which are, I believe they're called Orobon. I can't remember. I think they're just weaker Sahagin. I might be wrong in saying that though. Either way, we'll set up on this guy. So yeah, along with having a rather strong they do have the capability of essentially what they just did there, which is boosting their attacks and stuff. I think pretty sure this guy is weak to electric, so we should be fine. Yeah, so it's capable of inflicting daze, and we've already spoken at length as to how daze can ruin your mood. Much like the Sahagin previously, these guys are weak to fire and electric, it seems. So that's the Orobon. I couldn't tell if he was actually stronger or not. We'll just check the enemies for just to see. So Sahagin are 64,800 health. Orobon have 200. So they're much stronger than Sahagin. Again, we see weaknesses to fire and electric. Capable of inflicting slow, susceptible to curse and the effects of vigilance. So we could vigilance up and actually interrupt these guys a lot more, which is an interesting idea. bravery in thunder for Saz. So we'll see how much they... Yeah, you can see they just sort of wreck shop if you let them. So we will vigilance up because the chance to sort of interrupt is rather nice. Unfortunately, Vanille has missed the chance there. So we will need to summon. We've already seen the summon animation, so we won't watch it again. Thankfully, these guys are weak to fire, which is rather cool. But they still do a lot of damage to me, so I do need to watch out for that. So we'll just quickly go into Gestalt here, and then we might as well use up all of our Gestalt meter as best as possible.
Time to wrap this up. Come on.
So that's obviously done a load of damage to... Man, just missed it. So dangerous enemies, you can just see just from these battles that we're actually struggling quite a lot against these guys. They do a lot of damage, well, as I've said multiple times now, they do a lot of damage very quickly. And dealing with that is not the easiest, at least with the team setup that we currently have, because we are currently relatively frail. It would be definitely easier if we could I mean, I might want to get Firaga at least, because then we could actually have some sort of area of effect control on the situation. Snow has reprieve now. We do want to head towards the accessory slot as well, all the way down here. Vanille, I think we were working towards Curaja. So we should have Curaja by the end of this episode, which is really good. It's just that a lot of the time we're needing to, you know, use these very defensive paradigms a lot. And the thing about these defensive paradigms is that they don't stack particularly well. Like, you can see why vigilance would be useful, because I wouldn't be getting stunned to death there. So we do 2,000 damage, they only have 64. So, we're doing close to 5,000 damage a hit, so 64... Should take at least just three boosts of attack, with obviously the D-Protect is really, really good. that is not an awful, like, it's not an expensive cost, as it were. We'd love to see Deprotect on one of these guys, so obviously that would very much help. We will also Faith and then Thunder Vanille. So it doesn't do quite as much, obviously, because we don't have Faith on Saz. We're doing, what, 3,000 instead of 5,000. So I mean, this is obviously a scenario we can deal with, but what I was trying to say is that essentially the problem we're going to see is that these sort of these defensive paradigms don't really stack well. So as the as the number of enemies gets larger and stuff, we're actually going to suffer a lot more. And Snow, despite being easily the best Sentinel in the game, even he at this level can't hang on when you've got so many attackers pummeling away at him. This next battle is not easy at all. It is what looks like. I'm hoping it's not all of these. It's not all of these. It's okay. 3 Sahagin and an Orobon isn't too bad, but like more would have been a problem. So we get poison on the Orobon, which is actually quite nice. That's going to be doing a lot of damage over time. We're going to want to Bravery in Thunder ourselves. And then immediately into Solidarity, we want to find a Sahagin which has Deprotect on. That we can whistle away at. Lovely. Okay. So I think the problem we have in the next battle is that essentially rather than Karata Source, so in the Seath Stone battle that we saw, we obviously saw Karata Swords along with the Sahagin. And Karata Swords aren't too bad because they're very, very weak. They should go down to some pretty weak attacks like I could probably spam Firagas and Thundagas and eventually they would all die. The problem is that in the next one, I think we battle against some Karata Raptors. Serata Raptors, I don't know how to pronounce it. But essentially, and what the Serata Raptors do is they just do more damage. Not only do they do more damage, but they have the chance. They're very much like sort of like the Mud Frogs and Hedge Frogs enemies that we saw back in all the way back in chapter chapter 6, I think, in the Sunleth Waterscape. In that the Karata Raptors have the ability to summon the smaller, weaker enemies, and that's a big problem for us. And it's going to be a big problem for us entirely, just because because that ability to summon more enemies to us means that essentially our Sentinel will just get overwhelmed. And once your Sentinel dies, then I mean I would need to summon pretty much to stay alive, and then assuming that most enemies will live the summon just because the summon doesn't do an awful lot of damage. Then then you're really in trouble. So, there we go, we take care of those guys. A lot easier with a preemptive, as always. It'd be interesting if we can get a preemptive on the big battle coming up. So, what we'll do, now that we have access to the XIII reins, we will use them. So, all the way back here to the one beautiful... I love how ungainly Sat is about it. But so we have our chance to ride the Chocobos for the first time, and as you can see, obviously, it's a lot faster. So the morale down the bottom essentially means that you can get hit by enemies 3 times before your Chocobo will just run away. And will leave you. And that's just sort of like there for, obviously it means that, you don't run into enemies constantly when you're on Chocobo back. So one of the things is, where is our next XIII mission? That was number 14, I believe. So now we're looking for 15. And of the ones that I see one over there, I see one right there on top of the... So we'll check the one on top of the rocks first, I think. The other thing that our Chocobo can do is the Chocobos can hunt, can find hidden items located underground. If you... You'll see it, hopefully it will turn up where we essentially get a big flashing light will appear above our Chocobo's head. Here you can also see the way the yellow circles work, and that they're essentially just like jumping points for Chocobos. As we get a nugget of Scarletite, another of the minerals used to upgrade your weapons. So here we go. Mission 15, Tribal Warfare. There are 2 other l'Cie who share my focus. The first to complete it is the winner, with freedom from this l'Cie fate as his prize. But for all who have tried, none have yet survived. So I guess that will make me the first. No more being a Falsy tool for me. Just need to take out that Goblin Chieftain on the Northern High Plain near the range of the Behemoth King. We will most certainly take on this mission. So you can see down below on the map that there is actually a Chocobo down by us. And essentially, now that we've unlocked Chocobos, Chocobos start appearing across the map, which is pretty cool and very helpful. So you see, when this happens, when that rather large bouncing exclamation point appears above your head, what that means is that there's hidden treasure somewhere, and essentially if it starts bouncing faster, you're getting closer, and essentially, yeah, you just got to look for these the patches of area where the grass is, less green.
What do we got here?
So we get a gold nugget on our first one. I'm not sure if that's actually a trophy. I think there is a trophy associated with Chocobos. I will look that up ahead of the next episode. We'll avoid the Amphisbaena down here. I'm pretty sure it might actually be towards, like, you have to search quite a lot more. I don't think it's just, find one thing and get lucky. So let's check the map. So he's essentially over. It's going to be over here next to where our where the Adroa XIII was. battled those guys. But this is the battle we're looking for. So this shouldn't be too bad. We've battled a lot of these sort of goblin type enemies before. Obviously there's a lot more of them, so they are going to be able to do a fair amount of damage to us relatively fast. And for that reason we're going to want to work pretty fast just to I should have faithed actually, because I'm pretty sure these guys, yeah, resist. So we'll essentially be using a lot of Mystic Tower and a lot of Solidarity here to just whittle down these guys initially. Thankfully, the Goblin Chieftain has chose to give the boost to actually the one Goblin that we were actually attacking. So hopefully we'll be able to take him out really before he gets off any like serious Goblin punches. You can see there's a lot of benefit to sort of spread damage here. We're going to get a lot of spread damage with various area of effect spells. So, 1 down, 4 or 5 to go, I think, actually. So yeah, capable of morphing into a stronger form is the key bit of information on those goblins. As you can see, Snow is doing an excellent job of sort of tanking all of these hits very nicely. We're just going to quickly go to Smart Bomb here. Reason is we want to see if we can get some more D-shells, D-protect stuff, just to speed things up along. So unfortunately we're running out of haste, so we will need to go back into premeditation for a few stages. We'll try and make sure we kill off this goblin before we do that, though. So, premeditation, get up our hastes once more. Quite a slow battle, but yeah, there's really, I mean, we could be playing more aggressive. I don't think there's a huge amount of benefit in doing that though. Just because of this type of enemy. We should be able to stagger this guy, hopefully. There we go, we get stagger, which is good. So it looks like Goblin Huntsman actually gets rid of lovely, so we get rid of that guy. We do want to take care of we'll probably get a pretty low score for this one, but, you know, again, being safe and consistent is a lot more, a lot better for us in this a particular playthrough than if we were being particularly aggressive. So the video's running out of faith, which isn't hugely problematic actually. This guy's actually... I'm pretty sure we're in nowhere near... We're in no range of like Goblin Punch or anything like that, so we don't need to worry about that. Lovely. Let's see if Vinio can't get any debuffs on this guy. The lack of fire on me isn't too much trouble because honestly we're not actually landing in peril a lot of the time, so it's not actually like in perils. It's not actually like these guys are actually weak to fire. So we get D-Shell on, lovely. See if we can't get in peril on. We do get in peril, lovely. That should mean Snow just destroys him. Yep, there we go. So, yeah, we do that in what? 557, I think. We get a survivalist catalogue. So, survivalist catalogues are a rather interesting item. It, I believe, increases the... So, it increases the odds of obtaining shrouds after battle. So, it gives you the chance of, like, earning Deceptor Souls, Aegis Souls, really useful items like that after the battle's over, which is quite cool. Okay, so that is that. We're now looking for the difficult one, the one that I've been talking about this whole episode, which is, I believe, going to be over there, maybe? Although that does, to me, look like a different one. I don't see any other ones, so that must be it. So, we will try and get ourselves a chocobo. Where's the nearest chocobo? I think it's just actually a cutscene we'll get. So we'll get a cutscene over in this next area, and we'll get introduced to a new enemy, and then we'll hit the Seath Stone, and then I think we'll be done for this episode, which has gone pretty well by my standards, I think. So, Chocobo just hanging around the lake. Yes, as you ungainly get on your chocobo. So essentially, I think the way the digging aspect works, I was going to mention this, is that every time you arrive at the Archilter step, or I think it might be every time you reload your game, there are 5 digging spots at the start of each cycle, essentially. So you can go around the map looking for these 5 spots, and then once you do that, then run out of spots, and you'll need to, and then no more items will pop up, and you'll have to find them in other places. So we get another gold nugget from that area there, and then we'll jump across over to this side. So this is obviously the Adamantoid, the Adamantoids area. We have the Adamantoids, we have Adamantulids down there, lots of very difficult enemies that we are in no way ready to deal with.
What have we got here?
So we get a nugget of Millerite. So yeah, so I think whether it sparkles or not, the sort of the item that you pick up, I think whether it sparkles is dependent on the sort of like how good the item is. So yes, this is just going to be a quick cutscene as we get, like I said, introduced to an enemy that's a staple of Final Fantasy.
What's that? Oh! Chill out there, Greedy. Hey now, stop that already. Oh, you asking for it now. Alright, that does it. Come here, you. Oh, you think you real hot stuff, don't you? You just wait until next time, big guy. Oh no, head spinning. Don't go hurling now.
So the point of that little cutscene, rather ridiculous little cutscene, is one to
This place is jumbo-sized.
is to set up an encounter that's going to happen later on,
Sometimes they kick.
and also to introduce cactuars, and cactuars are now going to appear across the map. And as with most cactuars, they will run away from us as soon as we approach them. We can take them on, though. So yeah, that's what I mean. They run away. I'm pretty sure we should have interacted. Come on, there we go. So, Cactuar's going to go for Cactus Dance. So Cactus Dance, it allows it to transform into it allows it to transform from a Cactuar into a slightly stronger enemy. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Yeah, essentially, they do a lot of damage, and they do have a lot of HP. They're not too difficult. The Cactuar enemies in this game are sort of just known because there is one particular Seastone mission right at the end, which is so difficult and involves a Cactuar type enemy, and eventually we will obviously reach that. So he's sort of spreading the pain around. You can see he has a very high stagger meter. So yeah, so if we hadn't have attacked him during his Cactus Dance, he would have transformed into a more powerful version, and then he would go for another type of dance. Might be Flowering Dance or something like that, and he would then become even more powerful. So it seems like he is weak. He's invulnerable to all of Vanille's debuffs, unfortunately. So it's going to be Relentless Assault. It's going to be our best way of dealing with this guy. We're doing a lot of damage, but we'll set up hastes again. I meant to do that on me, actually. So the battle itself is not too difficult because we can literally just sort of wait it out. He doesn't do quite enough damage to actually be a real threat. So, unfortunately, yeah, that's pretty much useless to us. So we don't want to use Smart Bomb. We want to use sort of flip between Relentless Assault and Mystic Tower, if anything. So a surprisingly sort of bulky enemy, I guess. It does a lot of, you see, a lot of damage. takes a lot of hits. I believe his health is 77,000 or something like that. Yes, 777,000, so his numbers are all sevens for some reason. So, we'll go back to Mystic Tower for a couple of turns, and then we'll go to Relentless Assault. There are more effective ways of dealing with him, and we will certainly encounter them once we get further into the game. Hopefully we'll finish this battle before before we actually run out of space. So, Snow's now doing 20,000 hits per hit. Unless he attacks me like 3 times in a row, we should be fine. There we go, lovely. So, we take care of the Cactuar, takes 4 minutes. So yeah, if we just check our data log quickly. Feral creatures, Cactuars. So yeah, so health 777, 777, his chain resistance is 77, his stagger point is 777. So yeah, all of the 7s. His only weakness, well, he's got 2 weaknesses in that, and he's immune to most status ailments except for daze, so we can actually daze him, and if you've got someone who can sort of spam daze, then you can actually get a lot of damage by sort of having